Okay, I'd like to call the Site Plan Review Committee to order for Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. Roll call, please.
Gary Kudowski,
Here.
Gary Paul,
Here.
Andy Krosky,
Here.
Dennis Persick,
Here.
Dale Quinn,
Here.
Dan Pampern,
Here.
and Keith Rathburn.
Please stand.
I'm sorry, Carrie.
That's all right.
Please
I'm
stand
here
for the
either
pledge.
way.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And please remember our men and women throughout the world in uniform. I have no changes to the agenda. I need a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. I need action on the minutes from April 16th, 2024.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second to approve those minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Number 6, action item 6A, consider, discuss, act on a planned unit development PUD amendment request to permit the drive-through at 2325 Holmgren Way, parcel VA-116-8-1. Aaron.
All right, thank you. I will share my screen here to bring the image up of the site plan. Okay. All right, as depicted on the site plan, we do request from Robert E. Lee and Associates on behalf of owners, Ash Investors LLC, requesting an amendment to the planned unit development or PUD ordinance covering this property to allow for a drive-through window on the end cap of the existing strip mall that we have on the property there. As indicated on the site plan, the window right here will be located on the far west end of the multi-tenant space with the queuing lane backing to the north. The lane exists, the wall exists, the PUD ordinance, or the PUD as currently specifies, does not allow for drive-throughs. Why that was in place, I guess, probably to prevent a typical fast food restaurant from locating on the property at the time. With the proposal for the drive-through window at this time, staff does not see any issues with the proposal as presented. No other changes to the site or elevations are proposed. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Aaron, wasn't this the site of a brewery going in there that we had passed some time ago?
Yes, that was probably about a year ago or so that came before Site Plan Review Committee for this space. That project, to my understanding, isn't going forward, and this, call it fresh restaurant, salads, wraps, et cetera, is going to be going in its place.
The patio outside, we don't have to worry about that being fenced like we, with some type of a structure around it like we had in the past?
Correct. The previous approval for the brewery did actually eliminate the lane in favor of a fenced-in patio. In this case, the existing lane is being maintained. We're just adding the drive-through window in that location.
My only question that, public safety is okay with this?
Yes.
Okay.
So Aaron, if we change this PUD, is that for the entire site?
It is, yes,
So not just specifically for this?
correct.
Can we make it specifically for this?
We certainly can. It just takes some crafting of language to specify it for this address or something to that effect.
I don't know if that's necessary, but there must have been a reason there was no drive-throughs allowed when they wrote the PUD.
Yeah, I think it was really because at the time the space was more open. There were more pads for development, and the concern at that time was they didn't necessarily want your typical fast food place locating in this area.
Okay.
All right, there's no other questions. I'll move to approve the development at 2325 Holmgren Way.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the amendment to the PUD for parcel VA-116-8-1. Would we have to, if what Dan just brought up, would we have to change that motion to say specifically to this site? I don't know if that's a concern.
So if that is the desire of the committee, you would need to amend the motion and the second to specify basically to a drive-through at this address and suite, if that's the desire of the committee.
To specify that particular project.
I
Correct.
don't know if that's what,
Well, I agree with that because there was reasons for not having a drive-through at that point. A high-traffic one probably wouldn't work there that we have talked about, so I'll amend the motion that I have, but to say the address on the, of this property with the adoption of the drive-through window.
is that the second would also agree to that?
Yeah.
I would.
Okay. So does everybody understand the motion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, 6B, consider, discuss, act on a site plan review request for an addition to Cornerstone Community Ice Center, 1640 Fernando Drive, parcel VA-881. Aaron?
All right, thank you. As indicated, Mach 4 Engineering and Surveying on behalf of operator Cornerstone Community Ice Center is requesting site plan review for a proposed fourth sheet of ice at the Cornerstone Ice Center at 1640 Fernando Drive. As depicted on the site plan, you can see here the 59,400 square foot two-story addition be located on the, we'll call it the southwest side of the existing building right here. The parking lot would be expanded into the area where currently the tennis courts are. And Rex is working with some of the folks on, figuring out options for those tennis courts at this time. The new parking lot will add 136 stalls to the site with landscape islands as indicated on the site plan. A couple of dry detention ponds will be located here along the east and south ends of the property. The dry ponds will satisfy the requirements of it being in close proximity to the airport. So that's why you don't have wet ponds in these areas. As depicted on the elevations, the exterior materials are similar to the existing building, has a mixture of, it's a 10-foot masonry or CMU, concrete masonry unit, along with then metal wall panels with concealed fasteners, and then also some adhered stone and glass window systems as indicated on the elevations. We do have a few recommended conditions of approval. One of which add, adjust, or remove the lot line that bisects the proposed addition in a manner that still maintains all applicable zoning and building setbacks, frontage requirements, and minimum lot sizes. Screen any new or relocated ground-mounted or roof-mounted mechanical equipment visible from street rights-of-way or property boundaries. The catch-all meet all applicable requirements of the Ashwaubenon site plan review and all other applicable village ordinances. From engineering, replace any existing curb asphalt that is damaged due to construction activity. Address all items on the May 1st, 2024 email from the Public Works Director. Those are certainly in the works already. And then coordinate any utility work within the public right-of-way with Al Farber, Ashwaubenon Utilities Operations Supervisor. From stormwater management, coordinate stormwater feature inspection process and responsibility with the village engineer. And then install and maintain erosion control per sheets C 5.0 and 5.1. Public safety had no comments. Forestry had a few specific to the types of species. Coordinate with village forester on planting of arborvitae or similar vegetation along eastern property boundary to shield the residential property. Substitute autumn fantasy Freeman maple for the proposed autumn blaze maple. The cultivar for flowering crab is not specified, should specify royal raindrops. Substitute a hybrid elm cultivar such as Accolade or Triumph for the proposed greenspire little leaf linden. And then omit the 3 eastern and 3 western Black Hills spruce to better facilitate snow removal operations. And omit the 18 coral bells plants at the base of the flowering crabs on the west edge of the parking lot. So rather technical comments that can be addressed. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, we do have representatives of Cornerstone in the audience as well.
Aaron, that empty space on there, that empty lot, that's privately owned, isn't it?
That's correct. That is privately held.
All right, and could you explain a little bit on the first item about the lot line? What is that all about? I don't quite understand that.
Yep, not a problem. Currently, Cornerstone building itself is basically on its own parcel of land. So the building has a parcel that basically surrounds it. The addition as proposed would actually bisect that parcel line, which creates issues in terms of zoning and building regulations. The applicant is in the process of, it's called doing a lot line adjustment to rearrange that property line to bring it into conformance so it does not impact the site of the proposed addition.
Okay, all right.
So Aaron, is that enough parking?
I guess I'll probably leave that to Don, if you would mind addressing that. Come on up here.
I mean, I see you guys have tournaments out there and not even on tournaments.
Can you
and there's-
state your name and address for the record, please?
Don Chilson, 1640 Fernando Drive.
Yeah, Don.
Hi. Yeah, I mean, we've got times on a Saturday night, a couple times a year, where the parking lots are completely full. But what we plan to do partially is getting some of the empty cars that are parked overnight out of the lot on a more permanent basis, because a lot of the times when we do have parking issues, it is presented to us because we have sometimes 4 or 5 high school teams that are also parked there and not even present at the building, but their bus is left from there. So that is one of the ways that we're going to try and temper some of the parking that is there for those couple of times a year.
Okay. It was just a question, because I see it packed sometimes.
Yes, it can be packed.
And that looks like you're adding seating around it again, so.
You're right.
That's the only question I had.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions? It's nice to see this moving forward. We've been talking about this, Don, for a number of years now.
Too long.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve with the staff conditions.
And I would second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve with staff conditions. Any other comments?
Signage will come back at a later date, I see that's on here.
It'll be permitted through our typical sign permit process.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you.
Thank you.
6C, consider, discuss, act on a resubmitted site plan review request for the Commonplace Building 2 at 676 Mike McCarthy Way, parcels VA-55 and VA-55A. Aaron?
All right, thank you. I'll share my screen again. Okay. So as discussed, this is a resubmittal of a previously approved site plan that was approved back in, I believe it was 2022, for the Commonplace Building 2. At that time, thought things were going to move forward a little quicker than what they did. Under our code, site plans do expire within 1 year if no progress has been made towards construction. So the plan now is to start, hopefully, probably sometime this late summer, early fall, on building number 2. So as part of that, we need to get the site plan basically reauthorized as was previously approved. The site plan itself has not changed at all from what was previously approved. So just in terms of some of the highlights, again, it's Mixed-use building, 2,900 square feet of restaurant space, 2,400 square feet of commercial space, 7 residential units on the first floor, and then additional 84 multifamily residential units on floors 2 through 5, for a total of 91 units. So again, this will be your typical first floor commercial primarily, and then floors 2 through 5 residential. Includes a mix of studio, 1 and 2 bedroom units. And as far as the site plan itself, there was discussion when the first site plan was approved of including a walkway from, that kind of follows around the building to the north to connect to Green Bay's redevelopment area that they have. It's called the Legends District to the north there. Should something happen on that property, we do have a pedestrian connection to hopefully try to make more seamless development pattern in this area between the city and the village. In terms of the, continuing on, you can see here just again a little bit of the green space as well as the common space, parking areas as proposed. The floor plates, proposed restaurant use here be on the west end, commercial space, and then the residential units as indicated on the first floor, and then the floors 2 through 5 would have the common floor plates for all of them. Exterior materials, again, are proposed to be consistent with our site plan design review requirements, including a mixture of masonry, metal wall panels, and aluminum storefront unit windows. Pre-finished balcony systems, glass panels also included for the residential units. As you can see, there is a masonry facade on the first floor addressing our masonry requirement. We do have when metal wall panels are utilized. So this is fronting on Mike McCarthy Way. Commonplace Building 1, you can see right here is the red brick building. This would be the second building. On the back side, I'm sorry, this is the corner Odyssey Climbing and Fitness. You can see they're slightly behind the proposed building 2, the restaurant use on the corner. And then on the back side, facing towards the city of Green Bay, you see the additional pathway, bike racks, and residential units as indicated. In terms of recommended approvals or recommended conditions of approval, as the building is greater than 50 feet tall and with an airport zoning district C, the applicant must obtain an application for height permit and approval from the Green Bay Austin Straubel Airport Director. Use of fully concealed fasteners for wall panels. Screen any new rooftop or ground-mounted mechanical units visible from the property boundaries or public right-of-way. Extension of the pedestrian way to the north through the parking lot to the future Green Bay Legends District, 20 Canadeo Run. A combination certified survey map will need to be prepared and recorded to remove the property line between parcels VA 55 and VA 55-A. Again, the catch-all meet all applicable requirements of the Ashwaubenon site plan review and all other applicable village ordinances. From engineering, review the as-built drawings to try to utilize existing sanitary, water, and storm and sewer laterals. Coordinate any new utility lateral installation with public right-of-way, if needed, with Al Farber, Ashwaubenon Utility Operations Supervisor. Submit the final stormwater plan of underground storage calculations and sizing details for review. There will be a buy-in of the Ashland Pond to meet water quality requirements, including anticipated costs and updated stormwater plan. And then from forestry, they did actually add a condition here at the end. I didn't get a chance to get into the comments, is to submit a detailed landscape plan and planting schedule. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we do have Joy Hahnemann of Merge Urban Development in the audience. Falamak Nurzad is available online as well as the architect on the project.
Aaron, that building is going to be in front of the Odyssey?
Yes,
Somewhat?
as it currently lays out, I'll show you the site plan here again. You can see here the Odyssey is somewhat tucked behind proposed project phase 2. And that always kind of was the plan for this area, was to not hide it per se, but that was always kind of known that this was going to be the layout of those two buildings.
And I'm looking at the renderings here. The first building, we had a shade of red in it. This one is gonna be a darker color, it looks like.
That's correct.
And then the same type of patio balcony system hanging out the front like the other one has also.
Correct. We'll have balconies.
I guess if nothing's changed from the first one that was approved, this one here is identical to it. If there's no other questions, I'll move to approve the project as presented with staff conditions.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve as presented. I would like, though, it says here, the on-street parking and number 3, extreme peak times for parking. They would like the option. I don't want that in there. If we want to, I think with the option for that to be a parking lot, should have to come back.
Absolutely, it would.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, that's all I'm concerned about.
Isn't
Okay.
that marked now, with parking on that street now?
Oh, on the
So-
street, yes, this is the option, that would be the rest of the village-owned property.
Oh.
That's right there.
That's the empty lots to the east there.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I just don't want to okay that option.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, that's all. Any other comments on it? I have none.
Aaron, the only question I have, all these projects we've been doing lately, they've got restaurant space, commercial space built into them. I haven't seen anything in any of them yet. Are you getting any requests for that?
I'll probably refer that over to Joy, if you wouldn't mind addressing that.
Could you state your name and address for the record, please, Joy?
Joy Hahnemann, 4104 Mill Run Court, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. So we actually have secured an LOI for the remaining 3,000 square feet at the Commonplace building. We're quite excited about that occupant, and we were lucky when we built the Commonplace one that we had Odyssey identified and were able to build almost 12,000 square feet
Yeah.
to suit for that retail user. So the plan, as you see it, incorporates both another restaurant, which would be comparable to the letter of intent that we're working to secure for a restaurant opening at the Commonplace, hopefully later this year. And then also smaller spaces that could be purposed in a variety of ways. So generally, as we look at other markets that we're working in, Eau Claire, Appleton, Stevens Point, there's been a real uptick in the commercial interest that we've had, especially for those small spaces. So we feel like it's an
You have
appropriate
confidence in filling
amount.
them?
Yes,
Okay,
and an
because you got a lot
appropriate-
of square footage there that, I haven't seen filled in some other properties. So, okay, well, I'm glad to see that you're filling them. Okay, it's the only question I got.
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to have a resubmittal on the Commonplace Building 2 with staff conditions. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you.
And this will go to Plan Commission this evening and Village Board then at the end of the month.
Okay, number 7, department reports.
Let's see. Katie Lima did a quick calculation on just where we are in terms of permits and construction costs compared to last year. It's May, and we are $30 million in construction costs ahead of last year already. So we're keeping busy. We'd like to see the progress happening here in the village. With all the projects on the horizon, I think we're going to definitely beat last year's construction total. So I'm happy to see that.
A lot of construction. We've been keeping you very busy. Okay, items for next agenda. We will have,
I have nothing yet.
Okay.
We'll see. We have another hour before submittals are due.
okay. I now need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
This conference is no longer being recorded.